Welcome to Behind the Curtain IMO. I'm Betsy Jordan. If you've been watching the news, you know about the Madison Square Garden event where there was a comedian at this event, and that comedian made off-color remarks, to minimize it a little bit, but really remarks that were racist, misogynistic, making fun of people. You know, well, comedians do that. Problem is, it wasn't funny. Calling Puerto Rico a garbage can, calling America a garbage can. Why does Donald Trump want to be president of this country if he can't respect it, right? That's the question I ask myself. I'm like, how in the world? Why in the world? And it's not about being politically correct. It's about being kind and respectful and decent. That's the very least we should expect. They're not. So it used to be disguised, this racism. Let's call it what it is. This misogyny. It was once disguised. Now it isn't. It's coming out. It's stimulating this anger. And it's coming from a very wounded, toxic place in the zeitgeist of our country. Okay? So in the case of a wounded feminine or wounded masculine, what's happening is they've got to blame somebody else because they are not looking within to see the wounds that they have. Instead, they're projecting it onto the world. I'm a victim and you're supposed to take care of me. No. I think John Kennedy said, ask not what you can do for your country, but ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. No. Our country is made up of us, and our president is a public servant. Right? But that is not the heart-centered servant mentality is so far away from the Trump campaign. And it is so present in what we see in Walz. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are not wounded masculine and feminine. They are healed masculine and feminine. They are so completely themselves. They're not looking for somebody to take care of them. They're looking to serve. There's a very different attitude. Because basically, we're hiring these people to do a job for us. The Trump campaign has it reversed, right? He's our savior, saving us from the garbage can of our existence. Are you freaking kidding me? Puerto Rico, honestly, I have never seen a man who had such disdain for Puerto Rico as this man has had. You know, one of the reasons that he Trump mounted a misinformation campaign against the federal government in and around Hurricane Helene, which I've done a couple of videos about. But the reason he's doing that is because he doesn't want you to look at how he withheld emergency funds from Puerto Rico when they were in need. He doesn't want you to see that. So instead, he's pointing the finger over here. And by the way, emergency services have done the best they can under threat of their lives from certain militia groups who took it upon themselves, right, to frighten FEMA, saying they were going FEMA hunting. So if they don't get the emergency support that they need, a lot of it's because these people were in fear of their lives. But they were still able to process any requests. And $750 was 3 times more than what Trump was giving through FEMA when he was president. So don't let him mislead you about any of this. It is smoke and mirrors. In this case, where there's smoke, there's fire, because he let Puerto Rico drown and burn. And then at this rally in Madison Square Garden, he's stoking the fear of prejudice and hate and racism and misogyny so that when he loses this election, he has an excuse and an angry mob to go after our country. Well, we're ready for that. When we win, we're ready for that. If we lose, there's so much more at stake because this kind of attitude, this mob-like behavior will not stop. So I urge you to take a look at what's really underneath this misinformation, because you know it doesn't make any sense. Biden is not that kind of president. He would not let those people down. That is not in his nature. But it is in Trump's nature. Trump's like, I got mine, You got to get yours. And I'm not letting go of mine unless you're loyal to me. Not loyal to the country, loyal to me. That's not how America's set up. America's set up so that the ruler of our country is a public servant to us, not the other way around. And we're all tasked to contribute to our country. By the way, if you're standing there blaming other people and not being accountable for what you're doing, you're lying, you're obfuscating the truth, you're deflecting, you're making fun of other people and laughing at their expense. That's what little kids do, right? That's a very big sign of a wounded masculine person. We don't want a wounded masculine person at the helm because he might just get mad one day and put his finger on the trigger when he realizes that Putin's really not his friend and is really our enemy. This was Behind the Curtain, IMO. Thank you for being here.